studio. Shh.
The east side of Detroit in the late 80s was a chessboard, and every king was playing for keeps. The best friends had been pawns once, doing hits for other people, taking orders from men who thought they was better. But pawns don't stay pawns forever, not when they got ambition, not when they got the heart to take what they want. Detroit, 1988. The board had changed. The old Kings was dead or dying, and the Brown brothers was making their move. The Brown brothers had been climbing the ladder since they was kids. Robberies, car thefts, weed, then crack, then bodies. They climbed one rung at a time, stepping over whoever got in their way.
Hospital officials say 29-year-old Richard Carter of Northwest Detroit didn't make it this time. Officials say 2 men were seen near his room when the shooting was discovered. Really, we don't have a whole lot of details other than the fact that some people saw 2 men. Anybody can visit patients, and there was no restrictions on visiting this patient. There are sometimes restrictions imposed by patients or the police department, etc., and there were no restrictions on this patient.
Man, who you down with, us or him? I'm down with whoever got the money, and you should know that. Well, that's what I'm trying to say, man. We got money, man. We try to move up, and Rick making us look bad.
Richard Earl Carter survived the streets. He survived the shootout, but he made a fatal mistake. He trusted the wrong people. Word spread fast through the city. The king was dead, and the best friends, they said, was the ones who put him down. Terrence Brown had finally made his move. He wanted the plug for himself, and he got it. The Colombian had made it clear, as long as somebody paid the bill, he didn't care what happened to Rick. That was all Terrence needed to hear. But with Rick dead, somebody had to step up. Somebody had to run the operation. Somebody had to keep the money flowing. That somebody was Clyde Carter, Rick's older brother, and he wasn't gonna let nobody forget it. Terrence found Boone in the hospital lobby, asked him where he was, asked him who he was with. "I'm with whoever got the money," Boone told him. Terrence smiled. "That's what I'm saying. Rick can't pay you laying up in here." The connect was his now. Rick was gone. The best friends was running everything. But Clyde was still breathing.
That problem is taken care of.
Man, this between me and you, man. You're gonna hear about it on the news anyway. Rick dead. And we want you down with us. We'll give you whatever you need.
I'm down with whoever got the money.
Okay, that's all I want to hear, baby.
This is the first time in the hospital's 50-year history there has been a shooting inside. Officials say after today, they plan to reevaluate their security measures.
With Rick dead and Reggie in prison for the murder of Stephen "Freaky Steve" Roussel, Terrence Brown took full control of the best friends. Reggie had been sentenced to life in May of '88 for walking into a house on Glenwood and putting 2 bullets in Roussel's head while he slept. The empire was his now, and he was gonna make it bigger than anybody ever imagined. The best friends had grown to 25 to 50 members. They expanded beyond Detroit, Pontiac, Benton Harbor, Lexington, Kentucky, Lima, and Toledo, Ohio. The I-75 corridor became their pipeline. At their peak, they sold 100 kilograms of cocaine per week. $2 million in revenue a week. They was everywhere. They was untouchable. Or so they thought. Terrence was cold, calculating. He never let his guard down. He always carried 2 guns. If he came into your house, he never sat down. He stood near the door, always ready, always watching. He was a king now. But kings don't stay kings forever. While Terrence was building his empire, another king was still out there, Demetrius Holloway, the man who'd been running Detroit since '85, the man who'd been on top when the Brown brothers were still just enforcers. Holloway had a 4-year run, from '86 to '90. He was one of the biggest cocaine dealers in America. At his peak, he was getting 1,000 kilos a month delivered to Indianapolis. He paid for 640. The other 360 was his profit. He was a whale, a legend. He could have been a CEO. He was a leader of men. But the best friends didn't care about that. They wanted what he had, and they was willing to kill for it.
Wait!
Terrence Brown would be charged with the murder. He'd be acquitted. The streets knew the truth, and the streets was watching. Lamont was gone, another body in the war for Detroit. The best friends had no loyalty to nobody but themselves. They turned on Rick. They turned on Lamont. They turned on anybody who got in their way. But Holloway was still out there, and he had his own problems.
The feds is building something big, Meech. I'm here in Rico. They've been watching you for years. This is different. They got informants, wiretaps, financial records. They're building a case from every direction. They could seize your stores, your cars, even your mother's house.
I got receipts, I got tax forms, I got a paper trail that says I'm a professional gambler. I'm a professional gambler.
The feds was closing in. They'd been watching him for years, seizing his assets, building a RICO case. They knew he was the biggest dealer in Detroit, responsible for 80% of the cocaine in the city. They wanted him bad. But Holloway was smart. He laundered his money through casinos, gambled big, claimed over $1 million in winnings on his tax forms. He'd walk into Vegas with a suitcase full of cash and walk out with receipts that made him look legit. 2 years earlier, Holloway had hit the jackpot, $1 million in Vegas. He was on top of the world. But what happens in Vegas don't stay in Vegas. Not when you got enemies watching. $1 million in Vegas. Holloway was feeling himself. He decided to celebrate. Miami, the nightlife, the women, the danger. What he didn't know was that somebody was watching. Somebody was waiting. And they was about to take it all. Holloway was furious. He'd been tricked, drugged, robbed, bamboozled, hoodwinked. He was flabbergasted. He knew who did it. Some lowlifes from Miami who thought they could take from a king. They was about to find out how wrong they was. He called the best friends, Terrence Brown, Reggie Brown, the whole crew. He brought them down to Miami, and they went hunting.
Where's my jewelry?
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I ain't take nothing from nobody.
You was there. You was part of it. I know your face. I never forget a face.
You can ask Huckabuck. Huckabuck know me. Call Huckabuck. And can you vouch for him? Okay, but I'm going to need a little insurance.
Okay, Huckabuck, say you good. But just to make sure you come back, I'm gonna need you to subscribe to Pixel Teller Studio. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Holloway got his jewelry back, but he knew the best friends had seen his weakness. They knew he could be touched. They knew he wasn't untouchable. The seeds of betrayal was already planted. It was only a matter of time before they bloomed. And then there was Wayman Kincaid. They called him World Benji, a teenage murderer who'd been locked up since '75. He was the #1 shot caller for the non-Muslim black prison population in Michigan, and he had a problem with Holloway. The word on the street was that Kincaid felt Holloway owed him, that Holloway had gotten his start through Kincaid's connections, the Murder Row crew, the old-school hustlers who taught him the game. And when Holloway got rich, he forgot who helped him get there. That was a mistake, because Kincaid had reach. He could put a contract on a man from inside a prison cell, and he had the muscle to make it happen. Holloway was a dead man walking. He just didn't know it yet.
Meech, we got a problem.
What kind of problem?
The feds, they hit the store in Jefferson. They took everything.
They've been watching me for years. This ain't new.
What about the other stops?
They'll hit him too. They're gonna take everything they can find.
Who's that?
Who else?
But Holloway wasn't done. He wasn't about to let Wayman Kincaid pull a soft squeeze. He was smarter than the streets gave him credit for. He knew people was coming for him. So he made a move they never saw coming. Holloway was gone. The best friends took over the east side. They had the territory, they had the product, they had the power. They was on top. But the feds was watching. They've been watching for years, building cases, gathering evidence. They knew the Brown brothers was responsible for dozens of murders. They just needed one person to talk. But that comes later. Right now, the best friends was on top, and they was about to make their biggest move yet.
Rick was my brother. This was his operation, and I'm taking it over. Anybody got a problem with that?
Your brother was weak. He was too friendly. And I don't mean best friends friendly.
Talk about my brother again, and I'll put you in the ground next to him.
My kind of friendly.
Friends, how many of us have them? Friends, ones we can depend on.
Clyde and his crew went to war with the best friends. Shootouts in Detroit, shootouts in Inkster, bodies dropped on both sides. But Clyde wasn't scared. He'd been challenged before. He was always the one who dared. But the best friends had something Clyde didn't. They had numbers. They had guns. They had a willingness to do whatever it took. And they had a target on Clyde's back. Clyde was a signal, a message to let the streets know it was real talk. He lived his life, he lived his status, and they hated him for it. They took him out. They made sure the whole city knew who was in charge now.
Hello?
This is the dead talking.
Meech? What the fuck?
The kings of Detroit was falling, one by one. Rick was dead, Clyde was dead, Holloway was gone, and Terrence Brown was running out of time. The best friends had won the war, but the war was about to catch up with them. The feds was closing in, the bodies was piling up, and the streets was about to claim its final victims.